Just God runs the world, and Jesus is the way and the life. And it's time to put Jesus first in the way that we run our businesses, the way we run our families, our businesses, and the way we run our country.
For radio listeners, we're on over 400 radio stations. They can't see you right now. This is a new look for you.
Oh no, I've been wearing a mask for a while.
Ah.
Yeah.
So this is an archetypal example that the mask is off by putting the mask on.
People can take it how they want to take it. It's just, it's interesting if you look at a Michael Jordan or something, you load up all these pictures and he's smiling and he's holding a basketball, he's jumping from the free throw line.
I'm just trying to not give additional extra promotion to like a bunch of weirdo Nazis, okay?
And then you look at Phil Knight and you barely can see a picture of him and he's got his face covered. So I don't have to show my face, it's me. That's my right.
Absolutely. Well, that's what Hollywood wants to do, though, is to control everybody through images.
Exactly. So I'm in control of my image now. It's no longer the people that froze my account. It's no longer the people that threatened me. We've got past the threats.
Bro, yeah. It's the audacity of white supremacists and neo-Nazis bringing Kanye on to tell him he's wrong for being anti-Semitic out loud that lets me know we're living in a simulation. That is like one of the most insane parts about this, okay? One of the most insane parts about the situation is like you got who are literally like neo-Nazis, have had neo-Nazis on their show, but like because those neo-Nazis are oftentimes very good at like dog whistling instead of just like straight up saying it, they're literally trying to tell Kanye that he's wrong. It's crazy, dude. It's crazy.
They tried to throw me in jail for the truth. And, people believe me. And people see that I wasn't crazy on what I was talking about. And they tried to write it off, and they keep trying to write it off. But the truth is the more and more I'm faithful to Christ, the more and more he's going to keep unlocking the blessings. He set it on my heart to build communities, to build farms, to build schools, to build the choir. But when you do that, you have to be really obedient. Hey guys, could you not talk in the back? I'm like really hypersensitive to sound. If you guys want to talk, just go in the other room, please. But we have to be really obedient. Like one of the big topics right now is all of the advertisement. And my take on that is, there's one place in the Bible where it says God sees sin differently. And there's another place where it says, let me get out my phone. I can really pull up the exact thing it says in the Bible. The general gist, and we'll get back to it after the 5-minute break, is that you have to stay strict to everything and remove as much sin as possible in order to serve God. And when people look at pornography, when a grown man is looking at a grown woman have sex on camera, you're still looking at someone's daughter, and you're looking at a lot of times someone that is the product of pedophilia.
He came out of the gate swinging with that one.
So people will engage in going to strip clubs or looking at pornography, but then the moral compass is like.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, this is a basic swerve talking point, okay? He's hitting the conservative bingo. He's starting off relatively light. Like, this might be shocking for some of you, but this is a relatively light thing for him to say, because everything else he's about to say is infinitely more unhinged. Kanye saying this to a guy who got caught watching trans porn, Lamau. I mean, Kanye West was like showing pornography to like Adidas executives in fucking rooms. He was also, his wife, his baby mama, Kim Kardashian, became famous from the porn One Night in Paris. It's just like he is like, he's complete. He is saying everything that he has done in the past. He's just shitting on it. Kanye West routinely showed pornographic images and videos of Kim Kardashian to his employees and Adidas employees. West culminated a sexualized atmosphere at work in which pornography was a constant feature. Or One Night in Paris was Paris Hilton. Sorry, I mistook. I fucked it up. I'm sorry. I can't believe I messed this one up.
Like, oh my God, look at the pedophiles. But in a way, anybody who looks at pornography is a form of a pedophile also. Let's bank it all in. It's very simple.
Yeah, one night in Kim. Exactly. That's what I missed.
We're not going to be talking about all this moral code and these standards right here. It's either Christ said so or Christ said no.
Yay, powerful information. I totally agree with you. Back in 60 seconds to join over 400 radio stations. Nick Fuentes in the studio. Everybody,
Nick Fuentes in the studio.
stay with us. Well, make no mistake, this Thursday, December 1st, 2022 broadcast is beyond the Twilight Zone because truth is stranger than fiction. Yay. Maybe more controversial than Alex Jones or Donald Trump now. I mean, we're about the most controversial people in the world, and obviously the most attacked and demonized.
Yeah, I mean, when you literally like make it your marker to be controversial without like actually thinking about what that means, like why you're being controversial, then yeah, that's like almost like a flex, I guess. But that's not really a flex. Like, he's not controversial because of his opinions on warm Gatorade, dog. He's controversial now because he's to the right of you on overt, open, anti-Semitic Holocaust denial. You know what I mean? That's like, Kanye West didn't come out of the gate saying like crepes kind of fucking suck. Okay, that's controversial apparently. Like he just came out of the gate swinging about Nazis.
He's here. Nick Fuentes is here as well. America First. We're gonna have Ali Alexander on. Owen Schroyer. This thing's gonna go for the next 3+ hours as long as Ye wants to go. Some stations don't carry the first 5, but you just dropped some bombs that I totally agree that are huge. Ye. So recap that and continue on, sir.
Okay, so I looked this up. It's about sin. That's what we're going to talk about, sin today, and how we need to do everything that we can. We're imperfect, but to free ourselves of sin and repent for sin throughout the day, at night, and in the morning. So right here, the Bible says right here, I know I'm going to do a Corinthians 2, like Trump, new Christian kind of reading of this. So bear with me. I love Jesus.
I tried using my free sub on your account and it wouldn't let me because the free sub has $4.99 value and your sub is $5.99. If there's any way around this that I'd love to know of. Yes, you're on a fucking iPhone. Apple Store adds an additional price. So if you're subbing on Apple on your mobile phone, you're paying more for it.
But I'm not the most, experienced Christian. And it says the book of Proverbs 6:16-19. I'm sure that's the wrong way to read it.
It's okay. You got the floor.
Okay. Identify 7 things that God hates, although there are not any punishments prescribed for those. Scripture clearly indicates that God does view sin differently and that he prescribed a different punishment for sin depending upon its severity. Now watch this one. It says, where the phrase all sins are equal in the eyes of God comes from. As far as I can tell, the most common argument for the belief that all sins are created.
Dude, I got to give a fucking shout out to the goddamn producers, okay? I mean, the producers of the Alex Jones broadcast, like, they got some fucking B-roll in the pool, okay? They got a pool of B-roll, and they're unafraid to use it. And when Kanye's, like, talking about fucking Jesus and God and the Bible, they put this fucking B-roll up there. And honestly, you have to admit and recognize when someone is doing a good job, okay? No matter who they are, no matter what they're doing. These guys, they're doing it. They're in the shop. They're cooking it up. Okay.
Equal comes from the book of James 2:10. It states, "For whoever keeps the whole law and yet stumbles at just one point is guilty of breaking all of it." Now, I'm a big fan of Steve Jobs, even though he did create Apple. And if you notice, the logo of Apple is actually the fall of man, the
forbidden fruit,
the bitten apple, right? So we can get into, what social media has done to families and all that. We got 3 hours, right? But I like the way our incredible American inventors like Disney and Hughes and Steve Jobs, the way they ran their companies and invented things that changed the world. And the way Steve ran his company.
Bro, I swear to God, dude, the more you get into Christianity, the more insane you become. It's like, what the fuck? Bro, this is like It's fucking insane, dude. You just start seeing Satan in every fucking corner, dude. What the fuck, dude? It's so bananas, brother. And it's the same with any kind of fucking ideology with a reactionary slant, okay? Like, the more anti-trans you become, the more you start seeing trans in every corner, okay? They're trans in the youth, all this shit. Like, the more unhinged and mentally ill you become, the more you go into the depths of any kind of ideology from a reactionary slant.
Company was his version of a sinless office. Everyone had to be so meticulous to be able to take what was 10 things at one time and make and put it in the palm of our hand. Think about an iPhone. It's your fax. It's your email. It's your phone.
And now it's 1,000 things.
Yeah, it's your camera. It's your flashlight. Yeah, it's like 1,000 things in it. But he had to have his army go in with a sinless approach. And right now, you know, God called Gideon to make an army, the 300, the real.
Like, this stuff's boring, too. That's the other shit. This stuff is also kind of fucking boring. Like, most people will watch this and go, all right, dude, you're being fucking crazy. Because, like, people associate this kind of rhetoric with, like, insane people, okay? That's what it is. Like, he's not even captivating in this circumstance because, like, he's, like, trying to fucking give you, like, Bible quotes and shit.
300, not the movie version, that were all focused on serving this mission at the time. So we have a mission right now to save our families from social media, from Zionist control, and bring Jesus Christ back to the forefront. And we're protected. You know, I don't have security. My security is the angels. My security is the fact that I didn't load up pornography last night. And I said, this addiction is going to have to flee from me. You know,
so
this addiction since
Nick
I was
Fuentes.
5 years old that has destroyed my mom and my dad's family, that destroyed my family. Like, when I take full accountability for the destruction, like, of my marriage, I'll point at the liberals and say, you took my wife from me. You know what took my wife from me? The fact that I was married to this beautiful person, but I felt like it wasn't enough. I felt like I still needed to look at pornography.
What is happening?
I'd say to her, well, stop making these images, stop breaking the internet. You know, that original term.
What is this fucking B-roll, dude? What is this B-roll? What is happening in the background, bro?
Comes from.
Okay, they dropped the ball on that one. I'll be honest, like, they kind of dropped the ball on that one. I don't know why they just, like, threw that in there.
My ex-wife actually having a nude photo that I didn't know about, that someone used her and put it on a magazine. But there's somewhere where she's like, well, if my husband is looking at this, I still want to be like the girls that are doing this. And this becomes people reliving the traumas, pushing the addiction, the pornography. And
the thing I don't understand is, like, dude, I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, it's like porn is like anything else, okay? It's literally like anything else. Like, and I feel like all these, like, anti-porn evangelists, they're like the alcohol abolitionists. You know what I mean? They're just like, they're like, no, this needs to stop. Like, I can't deal with it on my own, so we got to just, like, stop everyone else from doing this shit. You're just, like, so upset. You're hyper obsessed with it. And it's like, bro, it feels like that's a you thing. You know what I mean? Like, you should probably get help for that. It's fucking nuts to just behave this way. When you say, like, gambling, I gamble. Yes, it is like gambling. Okay? It is. Exactly. Okay? I gamble. You know this already. I'm against having no fucking safeguards whatsoever. I'm against that becoming super hyper normalized. I'm against it being easily accessible at your fucking home. I'm against it being done at crypto casinos where a 12-year-old could just, like, easily sign on and lose money, but won't be able to get the money back if they want to take it out of the casino. Yeah.
Industry is not even a big industry. It's like less than $10 billion, right? So that means that it's not used for prosperity. It's used for disparity.
By the way, George.
Would you say that the same thing to drug addicts? Yes, bro. What do you mean? Like, rehabilitating drug addicts unironically fucking starts with decriminalizing drugs. You know that, right? There are plenty of successful examples. It's about softening the blow and the impact. Yeah. So, yeah, I am. I am in favor of decriminalizing drug consumption in an effort to treat drug addiction with a mechanism of rehabilitation rather than incarceration. So yes. So I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Also, what is this? This is like what Lizzo and Kim wearing the Balenciaga.
Orwell wrote in 1984, and he'd been the #2 guy in psyops for.
Yeah, porn isn't even addictive in the technical medical sense. It's compulsive. It's a compulsive behavior. Yeah, I know, but whatever. People can't fucking comprehend that that's different.
OSS and ran propaganda for the British government, but he found out that he didn't like Hitler, but he found out that they were actually manipulated and created him. He didn't like the communists. He'd been one of them. He found out the British intelligence had actually created that and done that. And he explained in 1984 that pornography is something to destroy families, destroy our souls, and get us to commit. He wasn't even a big Christian, but get us to debase ourselves so that they could control us.
Absolutely.
He said George Orwell. I mean, George Orwell was he was definitely from what I understand, George Orwell was definitely, I mean, he was an anti-fascist. So I think AIex is not right about the entire conversation. But yeah, he wasn't exactly a super fond of Stalin for sure. So there is that. And he definitely did snitch, I think, on Stalinists, no? But he also literally took matters into his own fucking hand. Now he was pro-fascist, actually. No, he wasn't. Shut the fuck up.
Absolutely. You got
George Orwell was more of an anarchist, in my opinion. That's where a lot of his issues come from.
alcohol and pornography are these legal drugs. Alcohol is a spirit. We're gonna go into the spirit of alcohol. Let's just go to the facts today. Let's not just even do opinions. And I love how you brought that in, because now you got God's warriors coming together. Right now, okay, Nick Fuentes doesn't have a Twitter account. Alex Jones doesn't have a Twitter account, but hey, guess what, Elon? I got a Twitter, and today I'm gonna have Nick and Alex tweet from my account. You like that, Ari Emanuel?
I'm all about free speech, and the greatest threat is those that want to silence us. This is why it comes First Amendment. Yeah. Anybody trying to take your speech is the enemy.
Absolutely. Well, and it's I do find it a little bit hypocritical that Elon Musk said that he was purchasing Twitter to create a free speech environment. He says that free speech is the thing that's going to save the West and our civilization. But yet he has taken exception to you, Alex, for some seemingly specific reason, maybe personal to him, but definitely not principled. So I think it's time.
Oh, man, I can't believe he's not being principled, dude. It's almost like, there is no such thing as like free speech absolutism. One of the most annoying parts about this is this fucking literal Weasley fucking greasy Nazi, okay, who's like, where's the principle of free speech? Like, shut the fuck up, dude. You literally want to burn women at the stake. Like, what do you mean? That's the other thing that is like so frustrating for someone like myself, who is very well aware of the type of shit that these gross nerds believe in. And I promise, okay, these motherfuckers do not believe in free speech. It's just a weapon for them to wield, because they know that these stupid fucking liberals believe in like principled understandings of free speech or whatever the fuck, because they've been conditioned into thinking that they get what free speech is, okay? So they can just like get a platform so they can continue spreading this kind of bullshit.
Time that the people finally demand a real victory here. We've been at war essentially since Trump came down the golden escalator 7 years ago to put America first, to put Christ first, to free the internet and do these kinds of things. And here we are all this time later, and it seems like we've stagnated, or in some ways maybe even taken a step back. So
it's just funny because like Trump is literally going to come out and be like, no, I don't fuck with any of this shit. I think so. I think Trump is going to come out and just be like, I don't fuck with any of this shit. He's just waiting. He's reading the room. He's looking at what's going on. He's looking at the reaction. And if the reaction is like even lightly positive in the direction of Kanye, then he'll be like, oh, Kanye's misunderstood. Okay. But that's not happening right now, which is precisely why he's just going to be like, no, I don't fuck with that. That's crazy. Like, you can fucking talk about theories. You could talk about your moral compass. You can talk about like principles and consistency all day, every fucking day. But the reality is, there is not a single person on this planet, with the exception of like, I guess, Noam Chomsky, who was there when all the slurs were literally invented, that has a principled free speech absolutist approach. Okay? That's it. There is, and even free speech absolutism in the way that people claim that they believe it is different person to person. It varies person to person. In the United States of America, we have some of the most expanded free speech laws. Okay? It comes across as boundaryless almost, right? Just unimaginable levels of free speech in America. In other countries, you would get fucking banned. You would go to jail even in certain instances, depending on your offense for some of the shit like Kanye West is saying, right? You would get fined at the very least. Okay? However, in the United States, you could do that. You could say this sort of stuff without any sort of legal scrutiny, without any sort of legal punishment. But even in the United States, there are still restrictions on speech, like not being able to yell fire in a crowded theater, right? So that's a restriction on free speech that a lot of people understand. Then there's also, and that's the legal restrictions on free speech, okay? But then there's also the moral conversation. And I don't mean like the objective morality or anything. I'm simply talking about like a culturally relative moral point, a normativity point, okay? Which is Nazi shit. Which is being pro-slavery, which is openly saying that like black people are genetically inferior. These are the types of things, if you say that and you get banned, almost every single person, with the exception of like really unhinged sickos, are going to turn around and say, nope, that's adequate. That's adequate that person got banned for saying that. Okay? That's it. Do you know the difference between neo-Nazi and a Nazi? Yeah, I don't give a fuck, man. If you are coming in here to do like weird semantics conversations when I'm having a conversation to a broader audience, I don't care. Like, shut your stupid fucking nerd mouth up, okay? Yeah, a neo-Nazi is a Nazi now, okay? Versus the NSDAP card-carrying Nazis. How about that? Is that good for you?
It's time that people demand we want Christ first, we want America first, we want Alex Jones back on Twitter. These are just and reasonable demands.
Well, I see it like this, and I want you to be able to elaborate on this, but I don't want Ye to get his run because he's got so much to say and he always gets cut off. But so I'm going to try to shut up as much. But we can go 4 or 5 hours if you want, but the main show's actually 4 hours long. I was just hoping for 3. We'll do 4 hours if you guys are up for it. But here's what I'm saying. I am a classical liberal at heart, so I love everybody and I judge people by what they do, not what color they are. And then I look at the things you've said, and some of them out of context I don't agree with, but compared to a liberal, a modern liberal saying white people are inherently evil and white people are bad because of their skin color, and then that's what the ADL and Southern Poverty Law Center and these leftist groups in Hollywood have pushed. So they're putting out something beyond even what Hitler said, but reversing it onto white people, and we're supposed to sit there and accept it. And then Ye comes out and says, hey, I see kind of a mafia running things.
All right, we're going to curse a little bit less on this subject.
Yes, Reverend. I'm going to try. I'll stop.
Bro, he's mad at people cursing. Meanwhile, like, oh God, I love that. That is at the heart of liberalism, by the way. That attitude of like, hey, you can say you love Nazis, you can literally fucking undermine one of the most well-documented ethnic cleansings in the history of mankind, and act like it didn't happen. You can literally say you love Adolf Hitler, but don't curse, God forbid. Okay. That is liberal civility, okay? Language, sir, which is hilarious because, like, Alex Jones fucking does that shit too. Remember when he was, like, calling me, like, an anti-fascist whose audience is full of, like, psychotic pedophiles or whatever? And then he was like, I'm sorry, this is and he, like, fucking got mad at me and, like, started cursing. But then he was like, this is a family show. I apologize for my language. I'm like, bro, you just literally said these people are fucking, psychotic pedophiles. Like, what the fuck do you mean? That's your family show? Your family show is talking about how the Democrats are doing pedophilia, like, every day. Like, I'm pretty sure you using a no-no word is probably the least of your concerns in that regard.
And the reason I wanted Nick, people have heard from Nick, but people haven't heard from Nick with Ye standing right next to him. It's like that's the thing that the Zionists control, the 300
Zionists
in control of the media, in control of the governments. They don't want us to connect to each other. Like my dad said, okay, they say you're anti-Semitic, but they say he's a white supremacist. And he's asking me, well, what's the difference? I said, Dad, there is no difference. It's just separation and confusion. They want to separate and confuse the Christians and make us.
Yeah, that's why I don't want to do that. That's why I say they're all fucking Nazis, okay? That's it. There you go. He's trying to do the semantics argument to his dad, which is pretty funny. He's like, actually, there's a difference, Dad. It's like, shut the fuck up. You're both Nazis. How about that? Suck my dick. That's it.
Afraid to stand next to each other. A Christian can stand next to anyone. We can go visit R. Kelly in prison. We can go talk to Harvey Weinstein.
That's what Jesus did.
Yes, because Jesus can save everyone. But if the Zionists can get us so afraid that they're going to do what they've been doing to me, attempting to put me in jail, freeze my accounts, smearing me on the media, you know, all of these things, you know, you put on the whole armor of God and they will not be able to break your spirit.
And by the way, we can do 3 hours on this subject, and you do 5 hours on it. And let's just get it all going now, because I want to get into everything about your plans to try to bring jobs to America, unifying people, running for president, all those other issues. So I'm not steering us away from that. I'm just saying let's just run with it as far as you guys want to go, and then I want to get into all the other topics that surround things.
Oh, beautiful. So where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, I would just start with this. There are good people from every group and every type of culture, and we all know that. But definitely the left, when it was America defeated Hitler, calls their opposition Hitler. When both my grandfathers almost died in the Army Air Corps, both of them almost died. One of them crash landed after a mission and got all broke up. The other one got hit in a German air raid in North Africa, and he'd only done like 18 of his missions, and then he had a concussion, and he was the captain, and then his buddies went up the next day and blew up over Italy. And he was always freaked out about it. Never really talked about it until he died, but when he died, we read the letters and all the awards he had and stuff and the things he did after that, and then, you know, re-upping and recommitting to the Army Air Corps. So I take it as an offense to have George Soros and people that actually work for Hitler rounding up people, tell me I'm a Nazi when I almost don't exist when my grandfathers went over there. I got a lot to say about this as well. It's just nuanced with the whole thing that's going on. But expanding on that, give us, because I want you to go wherever you want. So just let's just have you talk for 10, 15 minutes more before me and because we got a lot to hear from Fuentes and he needs to be heard, but we want to hear from Ye. Go ahead.
Yeah,
well, I said
Fuentes,
with Ali Alexander and Nick Fuentes that we're like the SWAT team of free thought, and I go in with this battle ram at the door, and then they come in with these laser beams and have that information, and we work together as a team. A lot of times in media, they want to single out one person and burn them to the core. That is a Zionist approach, and they're asking me to use that same approach. Well, hey, don't say all people, just say specifically the businessmen. And then I go on Lex Fridman and I say who it specifically, and that's still not enough. They're still taking it too far. Everyone knows and agrees now that it's like a reverse version of American History X, the scene when they put the guy's head against the curve and kick the back of it. And now people are like, wait a second, the so-called crime doesn't deserve the punishment.
The Soros' Hitler one is so fucking insane. Because like George Soros is Jewish. And I think he was like 12 when the Holocaust happened. Like my man was literally 12 years old, bro. Or 14, I guess. Yeah, no, he was 14 during the Holocaust, bro. His entire family got killed by Nazis. He was able to escape by hiding that he was not, like by, I'm pretty sure, I think he hid that he wasn't Jewish. And he was saved by a family in Hungary that, what was it? Like, saved by a family in Hungary that was like collaborating. But he was fucking 14. Like, what do you mean? You can't say it's his fault, dude. What the fuck?
What did I thought?
That's right. You're not Hitler. You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also. I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me you can
not show that part.
Love, us And you can love what we're doing to you with the contracts. And you can love what we're pushing with the pornography. But this guy that invented highways, invented the very microphone that I...
That was the curb stomping scene from American History X. It's just a insane scene, the show.
...use as a musician. You can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good. And I'm done with that. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being...
He said Hitler invented the microphone and highways. So that's not true. For those of you who don't know, that's just false. I don't know what else to say about that.
Has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler. How about that one? Ari Emanuel, how you like that one? Hey, Ron, you going to do anything to fix Chicago?
Well, I am worried about the thousands of black folks down in the month of Chicago, but let me expand on that because that's a nuanced issue.
He did call Rahm Emanuel out.
Yeah. You know, my grandfather grew up in Dallas and from a pretty wealthy family.
Also, Hitler was born Christian.
Well, I've actually studied some of the history on it, but it's very interesting. My grandfather, grew up, and actually some of his family spoke some German. There's a lot of Germans in Texas. But did you know that he grew up next door to the inventor of air conditioning and the inventor of one of the major inventors of refrigeration? And so my issue was, growing up, my grandfather told me the stories about some of the inside baseball and the things that went on. But later, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to tell you some stuff about Hitler that you might not know directly that happened to my people I knew.
I'd love to hear everything because guess what? We don't get to hear. It's hidden. Even like our truth, the fact that after...
Yeah, man. Yeah. Hitler, not a very well-documented, brutal person, you know? Bro, it's like the one thing you can't say about Hitler is that it is hidden. Like, everyone knows who Hitler is. You just mean that, like, it's hidden because, like, they don't have a positive outlook. Like, they don't cover him in a positive way, which is, of course, one of the least hidden figures throughout history, man.
African Americans were in America before the Pilgrims. That truth is hidden. That we are actually the Native Americans, or some of us are Native, or the fact...
Bill Gates reading a well-read copy of Mein Kampf. By the way, this is the funniest Photoshop, dude. I love that. While Kanye West is spitting over here, fucking, showing his admiration for Hitler. Meanwhile, they're like desperately trying to still be like, no, Hitler is bad though, because liberals are Hitler.
That what Kyrie got in trouble is pointing out that...
Did Bill Gates actually do this? No, man. What? What are you, fucking insane? No.
We're Jewish slave boats. Like, and then...
Well, look at Australia.
Yeah.
They've done some of the genetic typing of the Aborigines there, and they're basically Africans.
There you go. So all of these truths, and then the current truths about banking, about the government. My favorite thing that I got to say with Tim Pool was Rahm Emanuel was right there next to Obama. Jared Kushner was right there next to Trump. What are those two people, those two Zionists, I gave it away, have in common? Nick, can you pick that up and expound on that?
Absolutely, yeah. And it's interesting because you've been going on these interviews with Lex Friedman and with Tim Pool and Piers Morgan, and they always say, well, don't talk about a group, talk about the individuals. And I would point out, one, it's hypocritical because in the same interview, Tim Pool said, well, wouldn't Ye be so great for the black vote? You can say the black vote, but you talk about Jewish businessmen, and somehow that's a problem. You can't talk about groups.
The fuck do you mean? Like, oh man, Tim Pool was being very racist. I mean, why is nobody talking about the hypocrisy of it? Like, yeah, he is racist and stupid. It's like, I love that this concept that was like invented by a 5-year-old, the says you, somehow the most profound thing that you can do as the most intellectual Nazi. Lol, says you, dude. Fucking got him, dude. Fucking got him. So good.
When it's one but not the other. The other thing is that there is something baked into the cake in Judaism which affects how they're brokering these kinds of contracts with entertainers like Ye. If you look at the Talmud, which is a real Jewish holy book, or part of the holy book, there's the written Torah, which is the Hebrew Bible. There's the oral Torah, which was written down as the Mishnah and then interpreted in the Talmud. In the Talmud...
No, man. No, you know too much. You know too much about Jewish shit, bro. That's weird. is too much. The moment that someone is like, well, my expertise actually is like Jewish copywriters. Let me tell you a thing about the Talmud. It's like, nah, nope. That's why I know everything about the fucking right-wing talking points, though, which is, you know, I study. I study everything they say. I study their talking points. I know what the fucking counters are, the effective counters are. And, of course, that's who I consider to be my ideological enemy. Nick Fuentes considers Jews to be his. So, there you go.
It says that Jews have to treat Gentiles differently than they treat other Jews. There's all kinds of examples of this. They say that if a Jew indirectly kills...
Bro, why does he know about this shit? My Zayde grandpa only knows about this because he goes to temple every day. That's what I'm saying. He's like a fucking weeb for Judaism. Well, he's a weeb for anti-Semitism. Like, he is investigating deep Jewish lore so he can find, like, things to pick apart. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, you are a fucking freak, okay? You are a complete fucking freak.
A Gentile, there's nothing even wrong with that. There's nothing morally wrong with that. They say that for a Jew to have sex with a Gentile is comparable to bestiality. They say that the semen of a Gentile is like that of horses. They also say that you can't give a gift to a Gentile. A Jew is not permitted under the Talmud to give a gift to a Gentile. They're not permitted to charge each other interest, but they're encouraged to charge Gentiles interest.
What do they say about?
Famously, Jews don't give gifts to non-Jews. Yeah, obviously, if you're a fucking Nazi, I'm sure you never got a gift from a Jewish friend of yours, but like, what the fuck is this take, bro? Also, has my man like ever heard of the Old Testament? Like, have you ever hit in the fucking Talmud? Making fun of the bald is a punishable crime in the Old Testament, and the punishment is being mauled by 30 bears. It's literally like, even if you're a child and you make fun of a bald person, you get mauled by 30 bears as a child. You think that's I don't know, a value that anybody holds on to in Christianity? Yeah, a lot of weird shit was written back then, brother. Did you guys know that? I know that. Why do I know that? I wonder why I know my favorite Old Testament. Yeah, keep making fun of my fucking hairline, bitch.
About pedophilia.
They say that that's in some cases licit.
Well, I mean, here's...
So you're telling me in their holy book, it says it's okay to be pedophiles as long as it's not another Jewish person.
That's something that came from Adam.
This motherfucker's Catholic, bro. I wouldn't be talking about this shit if I were you. You know what I'm saying? Like, Nick Fuentes wants a Catholic America.
Not 100% sure.
Well, let me just get this. Let me just get this out front. I believe in free speech, and that's why I want you to be here and be able to say whatever you want. I'm quite the historian from a lot of multifaceted views. So at a certain point, I'm going to give my nuanced views of this, because there are power structures, and there are mafias, and there are cliques, and there are groups, and there is certainly leftist Jews that call everybody Nazis they don't agree with. If you don't want open borders, or you don't want your guns taken, or you don't want to take a shot. The ADL had a meeting 2 weeks ago and said...
It's funny because Alex Jones is still maintaining the value that Nazis are bad in between two Nazis who literally are like, no, Nazis are good. So he just still tries to use Nazi as a pejorative. Both of the people on the panel is like, no, actually, like, that's a positive. Like, shut the fuck up, old man.
Alex Jones is an agent of evil. He should be taken off the air. He's the devil because he doesn't want you to take 4 shots. And I'm like, what are you doing?
He's like, come on. He's like, come on. Bring it back to the leftists, please. And they're like, nah, we don't give a fuck. Like,
calling me anti-Semitic. I'm not against groups. I don't get into group politics.
Adam, sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Alex.
Yes, sir.
I've got the perfect answer for the ADL. They are going to have to listen up. What we did is we brought Netanyahu with us.
I mean, I'm in the twilight zone right now.
Netanyahu, what do you have to say? What do you have to say to Alex Jones right now, Nick Fuentes and Ye? It was bad. It was bad for Trump to meet with Nick and Ye. Okay. I had no idea your voice is going to sound like that, Netanyahu.
So you don't like Benjamin Netanyahu?
I just heard about this guy 2 weeks ago, so it's like the tweet, and I thought he had a funny name. I heard he's like really into like, he's like a super killer. I could die for saying this. So in case this is the last time you ever hear from me.
Well, look. I'm glad you guys are here, and we can sit here and upset. All I'm telling you is, do you guys realize that the British government created Hitler, and the Milner Group put him in power, and there's something much more sophisticated? And I personally think that most Jews are great people, and I understand there's a Jewish mafia, and they're used to demonize anybody that promotes freedom, but I don't blame Jews in general for that. And there is a much larger eugenics, transhumanist, scientific elite agenda that's playing off.
What about abortion? It's 50% of black deaths. There's over 50.
Hey, one of the papers I had, you're like, why is all? You're the director today. It's fine. The Margaret Sanger, Rockefeller-founded Planned Parenthood, came out today and said, because of your white guilt, white people need to give money so we can kill black babies. I swear to God, it's in my stack. If I hadn't moved it off the desk, I could pull it right up for you.
Why did I have you move it off the desk, Alex?
Because it's cluttered. I'm not bitching. I'm just saying, everybody asks, where's my papers? I don't have them there as a prop. I can literally go, look, I agree with you. Look at this. They say white people help us kill black people for your white guilt. It actually says that. Now, I'm agreeing with you.
Is it a problem with props? We can't. This is the voice of Netanyahu.
Well, see, you get your mop.
This is such boomer shit, bro. I mean, this is divorce dad excellence right here. This is divorce dad Olympics. Like, God, Netanyahu sucks so much. Why the fuck is this your argument? I mean, what the fuck is this the way you're making fun of him?
I'm going to find the tweet here. See, because I want to show you this. This is a big... Guys, I sent it to you this morning. It was in the tweets. You pull it up. It's official Twitter of the eugenics death cult. Talk about Nazis. I mean,
we're going to have Netanyahu step out for a second, okay, Alex?
Oh, he's going to go?
I'm leaving for now until it's another meeting, and then I'm going to say something. All right.
You're not only an artist, you're a comedian. But Nick, that's what I'm getting at here.
That's low. That's low. The dick riding, dude, that's the moment where Alex is like, wow, like, I've fallen. You know, I had Donald Trump on the broadcast, bro. I mean, that is, oof. That's like he's you know, he was like kind of joking. Like, you know, he was like, oh yeah, you're a comedian. But he's like, oh fuck, what am I doing right now, brother?
is that it was a it doesn't matter. I mean, there's fluoride in the water killing us all. They're injecting us with GMO. Oh, here's the question, and I'm not an apologist for Israel. I'm trying to be balanced here, and I believe in the First Amendment. I believe in free speech. I endorse you, say whatever you want. Israel has, other than like Singapore and a few places, the most draconian mRNA injections in the world. They have the highest death rate from the shots. They are literally forcibly injecting them like Joseph Mengele, and Jews are dying in mass in Israel. So if the Jews are the secret group that runs it all, and I'm not denying that, you know, Jews run Hollywood, what I'm saying is...
He's like, come on, listen. Listen, let me tell you something. Jews run Singapore. He's like... This is pretty funny because it's like the anti-Semitism Olympics. Come on, I'm anti-Semitic, but like not to your degree. He's like, let's talk about the mRNA vaccines.
Zionist.
Yeah, but okay, well, why would the Zionists be killing Jews in mass in Israel with the poison shot?
Because they work for Satan. They don't work for God.
Exactly. So they create atmospheres that get Jews persecuted so they can control the Jews so they can kill them. And you just did it. Just like George Soros helped round up Jews for Hitler, that's the next level. Boom, we just got there.
And they control the left and the right. They make politics super messy. Like, I went in to meet with my boy Trump, and the next thing you know, like he typed, he said, fake news went crazy. And I love Trump like every other good Christian American. We just want to hold Trump to Christian values and say that's the only way to the White House. And if he doesn't do it, then I'm going to have to do it. I think that Trump is a more senior president. I think I've got some growing to do, but I love Jesus. It's kind of like David. All of his brothers had all this battle experience, and he was tending to the sheep. But while he was out there, he had to fight bears and tigers. This is the little I know as a baby Christian.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah. but he was able to beat that giant. And right now, this giant, there's some cleaning, there's some plumbing that we have to do. And that's what I'm doing with my style of art, my style of humor, and who I am as a celebrity, to say, okay, I've been messed over enough by Jewish businessmen to get to the point to say, I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm not the first person that got debanked because of their political opinion. And I represent now the common man. If we go, when we go, I don't like the word if, when we go.
Yeah, he means like he represents the common anti-Semite, I think. This was pretty funny this morning. Yeah. I think Ye could actually win the presidency. That was another banger of a take, dude. I love that. I love that at 7:27, Tim Pool woke up and was like, man, this is a good time to say this. He is so consistent, dude. You have to respect Tim Pool's consistency. He is always wrong, man. It's crazy how wrong he is, like, so fucking frequently, dude. 49 state slide, motherfucker. What happened? I mean, this was great, dude. This was great. Shouts out to the AIex podcast for fucking hitting me with this delicious fucking graphic. I think Ye could actually win the presidency 2 hours later. Well, shit. Alex Jones, you're not Hitler. You're not a Nazi. Ye. Well, I see good things about Hitler. Also, every human being has value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler. Oh!